I'm joined now by Secretary of Zamfara State Emergency Management Agency, Ahmed Bala Gusso, for more on this development. Mr. Gusso, thank you for joining us on the news this hour. Gummi was earlier predicted to experience such torrential rainfall at this time of the year. Would you say that government agencies like yours, did enough to prevent this occurrence from happening? Mr. Gusso, I'm asking about the level of preparation that went ahead once that caution message came across.
Thank you very much. Good evening, and how are you?
I'm terrific.
On the receipt of the news about what was happening in Gummi, my office plus the humanitarian ministry quickly mobilized ourselves and went directly to Gummi Local Government for the on-the-spot assessment of what is happening there. By the time we went, we already met the NEMA office, zonal office in Sokoto. So in conjunction, we went around and saw the devastating effects of the flood. Gummi Local Government in particular was very much affected. Almost all the wards in Gummi town were submerged. From Gummi town, we went and saw 3 of the wards, Gayari, Falale, and Kalfa. By the time we went to Gayari, the whole town was submerged completely. Almost everything was completely damaged in terms of livestock, the farmlands, and all other perishable items. From there, we proceeded to Fale. On reaching Fale, of course, we couldn't go through because the only bridge that connected Gummi town with Fale had already been washed off. So all we did was to stand by and got the information from the local government chairman, who gave us a breakdown of what really happened in terms of damages.
What kind of relief is getting to Gummi now? 13 people have died, houses have been washed away. What kind of help is reaching them on behalf of government?
Okay, the help as of now, preliminary studies is for us to assess and see the damage. Of course, you cannot take anything without seeing the damage. So now we have been there. We went, NEMA office was there, ZEMA office was there. The deputy governor was also there. So we went around. We have now taken a census of the houses that were affected. Still, we are still waiting for a report from the emir who we visited and who we went around some of the villages. They are there on the ground. So whatever numbers we'll quote will not be as authentic as the one that will be given to us by the emir. So our intention is to go back after having gotten all the numbers that we want. We'll go back and see what we can do as an immediate response.
You don't think it is safe to relocate the people just in case this rain persists?
Yeah, that's a very good one. It's one of our recommendations, And unfortunately, people have this tendency to get attached to where they have been born, bred, and grow up for long. So it's not easy to displace. But definitely, it's one of the recommendations that we will give. Because even if they decide to stay there, we're not praying, but definitely next year or 2 years to come or 3 years to come, this flood will still come up and it will be a recurring demand. So I agree with you. The best thing for now is for them to be relocated. And I hope the government will do that.
Ahmed Balaguso is Secretary Zamfara State Emergency Management Agency. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Water everywhere in Gummi, that's in Zamfara State. But Plateau State and some parts of Nigeria are currently experiencing drought, a kind that has never been witnessed for more than half a century. In Plateau State, places like Langtang South, Wasay, Mikang, Shandam, and Kwampan local government areas are most hit by this natural disaster. Images on social media reveal a rather sorry state of crops, most of which are at very critical stage of growth. The crops which were at the fruiting stage had completely dried up. This spells great disaster for the states and, by extension, the country's future food security. Elsewhere, Minister of Education Professor Tahir Maman has called on the Academic Staff Union of University to allow for more dialogue as the union gives 21-day ultimatum to the federal government in order to meet their demands. The minister spoke exclusively to TVC News on the program Beyond 100 Days, promising ASU on the desire of the federal government to avoid disruption in the education sector.
Question of for us to be very pragmatic and practical and show understanding with regards to what is doable now, what is doable in the short term, and what will require more time to do. And that's why we have already sent out notice to the leadership of ASU for us to meet on Monday. Yesterday, as I said, we reviewed the letter, the submission from them, and all the issues which are listed out there. And so it is our hope that by Monday we will meet to discuss them.
After 43 years in the legal profession, it's now official. Justice Olukayode Ariwola has retired as the 22nd Chief Justice of Nigeria upon the attainment of 70 years. At the valedictory session held at the Supreme Court in his honor, Justice Ariwola noted that it's anti-ethical to the concept of justice when litigants are made to wait for years in order to have their case determined. Celestina Area reports.
Born on 22nd August 1954, Justice Ariwola was on 22nd November 2011 elevated to the bench of the Supreme Court. He was appointed Substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria on 27 June 2022. His appointment as CJN followed the resignation of Justice Tanko Mohammed. Justice Ariwola was formally confirmed Chief Justice of Nigeria by the Nigerian Senate on 21 September 2022. Justice Kudirat Kekereekun will succeed Justice Ariwola.
Conviction that the right to fair hearing enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria could only be meaningful when litigants have enough judges and justices to hear their cases. Justice is not a scarce commodity to be queued for. Justice without delay is inherent, natural, and constitutional.
Speaking on the contribution of Justice Ariwola to the judiciary and the nation at large, the Attorney General of the Federation commended Justice Ariwola for the decisions taken by the court, which has helped in keeping the economy's democracy intact.
Constitutional democracy and governance has laid out its peculiar features and attributes. I must restate that elective and legitimate governments entrusted with mandates of the people can only be changed constitutionally and legally by the electorate at the end of its term of office as prescribed by our law and the Constitution, which is the ground law. The Constitution, which is the ground.
Kayode Ariwola for attaining the age of 70. Not only that, concluding his career on the bench gloriously.
Stood at the edge of the door about to exit. The long sought for and awaited improvement on the remuneration of judicial officers in Nigeria became a reality with the signing into law of the Judicial Office Holders' Salaries and Allowances etc. Act 2024.
It was under the leadership of Justice Ariwola that the Supreme Court for the first time had its full complement of 21 justices. He also ensured that justices had their assistants to help them with research and documentation. He made sure the 39-year-old Supreme Court rule was revised It was also under his leadership that 2 landmark judgments were delivered in respect to local government autonomy and also the NEMA redesign policy. Celestina Iria, TVC News, Abuja.